Kerbal News, year 24, day 404, 5 hours 46 minutes. The Kerbals prepared to go to Duna with their brand new helicopter lander. The rocket is the biggest thing the Kerbals have ever launched before. Getting this thing off the pad takes a little juice, but Valentina, Jebediah, Bill, and Bob are up to the challenge. The Kerbals also test the engineering limits of their rocket. Very bendy indeed, enough to make Kerbal Stretch Arm Kerbal jealous indeed. The great orange giant comes into view as the Kerbals realize that their helicopter will actually cause more harm than good, so they use the parachutes to come down the old-fashioned way. The Kerbals descend slowly under drogue chutes and radial parachutes, safe and sound, and they even test the strength of their solar panel, nice and solid. Battery capacity is a problem, as the blueberries cannot be attained. Will the Kerbals make it back home to Kerbin with science intact? Stay tuned to find out.
Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, Saka here, and welcome back to another episode of Kerbal Space Program. And when we last left off, we got a bunch of science with Valentina and Bob, and in the meantime, I managed to get this rover reconnected, and it has 98.6 liquid fuel and 121 oxidizer. We can use that to refuel this as we increase our altitude. So I'm hoping for good things. What we're going to do is we're going to set our little lander as our target here, see when we cross the orbit, and actually we're pretty much across it now. So if we launch, say, due east, we can try to break out of that atmosphere and get going. Once this tank is completely empty, we'll drop it, and our delta V will increase again. So F5 for safety. Aiming for the 45, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, up we go. Let's aim for the 90 if we can. Keep her right there, gear up. And then we will feed as we climb. Fuel into that engine. Solar panels retracted. Let's gain some altitude here. All right, keeping it a full fuel tank here. We want to get as much altitude as we can and as much speed as we can, especially when we start getting into the thicker stuff there. All right, that's everything, and decouple. All right, so 1,700 meters a second. We've broken through the thick stuff. Looks like Val is having a little bit of trouble keeping this thing under her. But as long as she keeps burning enough to clear the atmosphere, that's all we need. Right there's our orbit. So 1,500 meters a second. Going as prograde as we can. Nice. 1,600 meters, or 16,000 meters. As we pick up speed and get out of this atmosphere, this engine will become more efficient. And basically, we just need to get out of the atmosphere and circularize if we can. Once we get into the vacuum of space, we'll be okay. So I'll go ahead and complete this and be right back. All right, burn completed. We have all of our experiments here in the bay ready to pick up while we're in space. And as you can see, we've got a 51 by 59, and it's just a matter of time until the Duna lander comes back around. I think what I want to do is raise up my parry just a little bit so we will not fall back into the Dunan surface. Then we might be able to use our remaining fuel to do our descending node and ascending node. And old Bob, or Bill, will have to drive this Duna lander to rendezvous with us, but it should be fine. Basically, I want to make sure that we do not fall back into the planet's atmosphere for sure. That would definitely be bad indeed. And in fact, yeah, it does look like we're skirting the atmosphere just a skosh. Yeah, Duna periaps is 51. 59. Oh, we're not sea level. There we go. I was going to say, are we falling back down? But a very good thing that we noticed that. So I will go ahead and circularize. It will only be 7 meters a second. We'll work on that inclination change, although we might not have to, considering our ascending node is, you know, right there. So if we can get an orbit to where this Duna lander is meeting it on this side of the planet, and we have more than enough delta V in this ship to do it anyway. So it's just basically making sure that our lander is nice and stable, and then we'll have 500 meters a second or so left over to do the final little rendezvous. So I will be right back. All right, 59 by 59. So they should be nice and easy. Let's go ahead and switch to the Duna lander ship. When we last left old Bill and Jebediah. That's right, Jebediah came along, so this will go along swimmingly. All right, Jebediah, go ahead and set our Duna lander as the target. Let's work on our ascending and descending node, if we please. Actually, let's add a maneuver, add some orbits, and see. Yeah, that rendezvous might be pretty close. Let's see what we got here. .9 kilometers and 199 meters a second difference. Our periaps should be fine. So indeed, 15-second burn, 22 meters a second, and then we can dock up with our friends. So sounds good. We have 2,700 meters a second left in the tank, and if we can snatch up the lander, that will be another 500 meters, or 500 meters a second in that worth of fuel to add to this tank. So I think we can top this tank off and get home with that. So I will see you for that maneuver. All right, 15-second burn. We'll go at T-7 or 7.5. And that should line us up, and I'm probably going to use the little lander to negate the speed, I think. We'll keep as much fuel in this guy as possible. And here we go, Jebediah on the mark. And cut. All right, let's see what that did for us here. Intersection 7.9 kilometers at 199 meters a second. Let me actually switch back to the Duna lander and see if I have enough delta V in here to basically negate the stop and then meet up with Jebediah. So I will be right back. All right, here they come over the top. We're going to wait until they get within the 7 kilometers. And will essentially come to a complete stop relative to their orbit. It's actually going to raise our orbit up and mimic. Yeah, 196 meters a second in climbing. So there we go at 10. Let's go ahead and blast. Using up nearly all of our fuel in this section. Cut. All right, target. So we've got 386 meters a second left. We will gingerly fly towards our target there, 4.1 meters a second here. See, 6.9. I don't know if that's going to be good enough. We're sort of slipping as well. You can sort of see that prograde vector drifting away from our target. But the Duna lander ship should be on its way. we have enough fuel to basically come to a complete stop. And then what we have to do is control from this docking port, and it will basically be inverted while we dock up to the nose of our lander. So I will walk this guy in ever so carefully and be right back. All right, vessels coming together. We have Valentina always keeping an eye on the docking port there. We have Jebediah also pointing towards the target. So essentially these two docking ports will always be pointing right towards each other. As you can see, we're sliding at 0.8 meters a second, but you know, it should be close enough that the magnets attach, and we will be one spacecraft once again. We can go ahead and get these parachutes re-sewn and restocked. We can move all of the science into this particular capsule just in case something bad happens. And here we go, going for the dock. They're pointing towards it, and skadoosh! Docking is complete, in process. Let's control from here, the main capsule. And yeah, we'll go ahead and transfer the last remaining fuel in our big tank here. And, oh, that's out. We want out. All right, so we can have a little bit more oxidizer, but a lot more liquid fuel. And I don't think the nuclear engine uses oxidizer. So we are all set. SAS off. And, yeah, our little Kerbals are going to come back. So I'll go ahead and wait until we're on the daylight side before I do the parachutes and transfer all of the science. So I will be right back. All right, daylight is upon us. So the first order of business is getting our parachutes all set up. So we will have Bill go on EVA and start tending to those. There we go, repack the radial mount parachute. And that's going to be extremely important whenever we come down. Both of these capsules are going to be coming in, both this little lander here and our Mark III lander there. So we need these parachutes to work, and the drogue chute's certainly not bad because they can slow us down once we come in. It's a very fast approach to get home from Duna. Not as fast as, say, Elu or something more extreme. But every parachute that we can repack, the better. So it's a good thing we brought old Bill. Gives him something to do. All right, lights on for safety there, Bill. With these radials done, all we need to do is repack the drogues located right here at the top of the capsule. And then we will have Bob go ahead and transfer all of the science over into this capsule, because out of everything, I believe that capsule has the best chance of survival. Just in case something goes wrong, we will not lose the science and be all for naught. All right, so this is the third drogue chute right here. Repack that one. And one more drogue to go. All right, drogue chutes and radial parachutes repacked. I believe we have our parachutes. Wait, did we not put parachutes on this? Oh, that would have been bad. So yeah, we are going to rely on the parachutes of this lander to get us slowed down. Yippee-ki-yay. Definitely did not expect that. Learned something new. But there we go, board. And then we will get old Valentina to transfer over if we can. Actually, she probably needs to be in this. So Bob will EVA and then hop in the Mark III there. He just needs to get this science. So I'll go ahead and transfer all of the data and reset them and see if we can do more science while we are here. And if not, we will see you for the Kerbin transfer. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've sped up time, done a year around to let Kerbin catch up. Negative 77 degrees is the transfer window, so that should be close enough for government work. I wanted to get close so we don't spend 20 years out here in the great expanse of space. So let's go ahead and set that as our target. Actually, let's go ahead and get our staging set up. So we do have those drogue chutes available. We want those to fire first. And then we have our regular parachutes up top. We want those to fire second. So engines on, and then drogue chutes, then regular parachutes as we come down. Separation, we need that one to separate before the parachutes. So let's bring that separator down right cha. Sweet, so our staging is set. F5 for safety. And let's go ahead and set Kerbin as our target and get there. So we need to go retrograde in accordance to Duna's orbit. To drop our orbit down to Kerbin, set that as our target. And now we need to come down and probably burn, this is kind of awkward, but we need to burn like this way. Add a maneuver and go prograde until we break, and then we will swing around as so. We'll probably need a little bit more gusto. The better ejection we can do, the better. And it looks like near our apoapse is really, really good. So that is a retrograde ejection. We just need to continue burning that way. Okay, that's a little bit awkward. Why is that doing that? Probably we don't have a circular ejection here. So 1,200 meters a second. Yeah, that's going to cut pretty close. Let's actually back that up and see if we can get a target. There we go. There was a Kerbin encounter. So that will be 79 million. And when we make that, we can do adjustments. So not bad, 1,000 meters a second. It's going to be a 12-minute burn. So we can break that up over the course of several orbits, if need be. This nuclear engine is not known for its get up and go. It's known for its efficiency. So once we get close to our maneuver node, as far as the orbit position is concerned, we'll just do several burns. So say start here, and then burn, and then come around, and then burn, and then come around and burn, etc., etc. So let's go ahead and warp there then, 54 minutes away. And see if we can start burning prograde here. 1,000, so it's going to take almost half of our delta V, but this is the biggest burn. Once we can get close to Kerbin, it's just minor adjustments to hit the atmosphere. And it really doesn't matter how hard we hit the atmosphere. I think our heat shield will be enough to do the work. All right, let's go ahead and start burning here. And this is going to be a long, long burn. So I will complete the burn over the course of several passes and be right back with you. Good thing we are right on the mark as far as inclination goes. All right. So I cut throttle there. We are very carefully edging up now. All right, so we are in the sphere of influence. All we have to do is break Duna's sphere of influence here and then adjust our inclination from there. It does look like we're going to shoot over the top. Let's actually go to Kerbin, focus the view there. Yeah, you can see that we are way, way high into the right. Let's see what happens if I actually speed up a bit. Yes, indeed. So we're going to come right over the top. And then ideally we want to come in equatorially. So I'll keep burning until we're pretty much on the mark. And then we can actually, bring our orbit down. Get rid of the 0.3 degrees that we got. Yeah, that's looking lovely. All right, go ahead and cut that. All right, Jebediah, if you please go anti-normal, if you will. Once he gets her pointed anti-normal, we'll bring her right down. And yeah, that is coming down nice and easy. So we're here in Duna's sphere of influence still, and manipulating our way down. So if we can come down equatorially, that would be ideal. Something like that. Cut. A little bit more. Something like that. All right, let's go retrograde again and bring this right in. It doesn't take much at all. Just cracking the throttle. Not cracking like, you know, the Kraken. All right, let's go. So that's 14. That's a bit too aggressive, if you ask me. Actually, let's go anti-normal and see if we can equator this thing out. If not, we might have to wait until a little bit closer to time. But we're getting things done nice and early. Something like that. Then we just need to go prograde. We just need to speed up a bit and push that back out until we are, say, 30,000? 61? I mean, it is like microscopic. What I'll actually do is transfer the fuel from this stage to this stage. Excuse me. There we go. Out and out. And then we'll use the little engines for very minor course correction here. Because we're coming right on top of it, but I do not want to sink so quick. So what we'll do is we'll turn off, rather than adjust the thrust of this, we'll shut down these engines, activate these, and then use these engines to course correct a bit. All right, so if we were to accelerate, yeah, that's just like burnt. All right, so we'll retrograde it up and probably be good until we get into Kerbin's sphere of influence, and from there, we can do radial out and radial in to try to fine-tune that so we're not so screwed. I mean, it is just so microscopic. All right, we'll do a prograde burn. That's fine. We'll come out a little wide, and then we'll go radial in with that nuclear engine once we get in Kerbin's sphere of influence and fine-tune it. But this is definitely fine for now. 60. Awesome. We're set. All right, so we are going to cruise there. I'll go ahead and get all the fuel transferred back over to the nuclear stage because it is the more efficient. And see you when we see Kerbin. All right, retracting solar panels as we do. We want to have at least some charge on this thing. Make it aerodynamic as possible, because as soon as we interact with that atmosphere, they are going to be shed. We have 450 electric charge on board to sort of keep us stable. If things go bad, I can ditch this particular segment and we'll be able to slow down much better. All right, so nothing explode, please. Yeah, getting that heating. Kerbin escape should start shifting over and we should be captured. There we go. Now we're really starting to slow down. We haven't looped it yet, but we will. So here comes that 30K that we set. Hopefully we have enough drag in this thing that we've slowed down enough to be captured. Yeah, it does look like indeed we will wrap it around. So there's the 30K we set. We should start climbing now, but really slowing down still. Yeah, periaps is dropping just a skosh, and there is the wraparound. So we will be captured by Kerbin. That indeed is the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway. We can sort of slow down, as it were. There's the camera flip. And it does look like, indeed, we are coming down this time. I mean, that Apoaps is dropping like a rock. And I don't know if we're coming down this time or not, but being captured by the planet is good enough. We'll be nice and slow, so our re-entry won't be as vicious. Our drogue chutes will actually be able to do the work, and our main parachutes as well. Alright, sweet. So we'll probably come out the other side. We'll do another orbit. I don't know where the Kerbal Space Center is in relation, but if we're lucky, it will rotate under us and we can land at the KSC. So a good successful capture. I'll see you when we come down for reals. Alright, Kerbal Space Center is all lit up right there. We're coming over it. I don't think we're going to come to a complete stop, but we've got all 3 engines burning, the nuclear and the 2 side engines, to try to get us to slow down enough. Hopefully, we can start biting, slowing down, maybe splash down out here in the water to get some of our money back, at least a good portion. Drogue chutes should be fine. Yeah, we just missed it, but not a bad approach all the way out from Duna. We're got a nice flyby overhead, so I'll see you for the landing. All right, 30 meters. Big boost. 3.5 meters a second, and splash down, cut. Nice, everyone has made it back. The experiments are intact. Let's go ahead and recover and see what we got here. A very successful mission. We should get a lot of science for recovering a spacecraft that actually went to Duna. Feeling really good about that. In my tutorial series, we didn't make it back from Duna. 2,107.8 science earned, outstanding. We got 91% of the value, 30,000 bucks back, $2.5 million. Nice. Valentina is now level 3. And Bill is level 3, which I had hoped for. Let's go ahead and get this Duna lander debris recovered for some more money return. And see what we can buy over here in the R&D department. So these guys are 300. We can afford to do that. These are 550. Experimental. Let's see, the narrowband scanner. Ion engines are good for sending probes out into the very far reaches of space. Let's see, quad inflatable airlocks. We've got all kinds of composite pieces and structure to hold things together. Fuel cells in that battery would be huge. Let's go ahead and take that. And the thermoelectric generator, not having to worry about power, would be amazing. Especially sending out rovers to other planets. That's 1,000. That would take a big chunk. Let's see, Communicatron and a drone core. Some better probes for our... Yeah, let's do the ion engines. And we have 1,000 left. The holding tank and the narrowband scanners for ore. More plane parts. Yeah, I don't know how much flight we're going to do. We could knock out these 3 and only have these few to go. The heavy landing gear and the big heat shield. New fairings would be good. Yeah, I don't use girders or stack decouplers, anything like that. We don't have enough. We're 10 science short of getting 2 of these middle grounds. See, aerodynamics for fuel adapters might not be too bad if we wanted to do a large space plane or something like that. Part of me wants to just knock out these 3, especially that, so we can unlock metamaterials. So we'll do that. Yeah, let's just do the small 3 here. That way, when we go for more science, we have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things to go, and these are 1,000. So those are definitely going to be more interplanetary stuff. But overall, not bad. Not bad at all. I'm not sure what my next task will be. Nice. Return from a flyby, return home from the surface, return home from an orbit. lots of money to spend on the next endeavor. Duna is a monster. It's sort of like the end boss, if you could call it that. So I'm not sure if going to Duna would be in our best efforts. If we could do something like Dres or maybe Jewel. I mean, that's way in the world out there, but there's several moons that we can do like a flyby science and come back. Sort of a science mission where we don't land on any of the planets, but we can get a lot of science in the Jewel system. Might be pretty fun. And there's Elu on its wonky orbit. No, wait. Yeah, Elu on its wonky orbit. I'm not sure if we can make it all the way out there. But now that we have those RTGs, we don't have to worry about solar panels giving us power. So our probes can go for a really long time, even if they don't have the strength of the sun to go out to Jewel, let's say. But it's something to consider for the next episode. But that will do it for me. Like, share, and subscribe if you are so bold. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you for the next Kerbal Space Program video. Take care.